Welcome back to Lessons in Property with me, Steve Hand. So, I've got Joe again.
Hi.
And today we're going to talk about refurbing properties, not just residential, commercial, it might be light industrial, but looking for opportunities that are maybe outside of the norm and how you fund those opportunities. So let's kick off, Joe. What do you know?
A few bits, mate. I mean, you know me, I'm a well of useful information. Sometimes the well runs dry, but not today, so we're all good. I mean, well, as we were just talking about, there's quite a lot of opportunity. England, Wales, also Scotland, where converting commercial assets or disused commercial assets, that could be anything from office space, retail units, also pubs, hotels, things like that, things that currently have a commercial class usage, changing them into residential properties, whether that's flats, apartments, whatever, or if you're going ground up, redoing house units as single units. That's a very good space to be in at the moment, because obviously with the change of government and this new pledge to build however many millions of properties, there's a lot of assets out there that could just be changed over. Obviously in England we've got PD, so we can just get things changed over with permitted development. 90% of lenders that we work with have refurb products that specifically accommodate that, and some of them have very high loan to values as well that they can go to as well. It's a very good space to get into because not a lot of people do that at the moment. I mean, it doesn't happen that often. We get maybe one or two a month, but the people that do it seem to have quite a lot of success with it because there's quite a lot of products catered to that.
And just for those that don't know, PD, permitted development or permitted development rights, if it's PDR, but that's like a fast track to planning, isn't it? So you're not having to wait months and months and months to get your planning through. I think they've got to do it in so many days, haven't they? Like 56 days, or there's it compresses time so you can get on with your project that bit sooner.
Yeah, very good thing to take advantage of. Borrowing money from a bridging loan, a development loan, whichever way we're doing it, it's always cheaper for you to borrow everything for the development rather than borrowing everything on day one and try and get as much as you can day one, because the way that the majority of bridging lenders works is they'll charge you interest only when you draw the money down. So it's much better for us to draw 20 grand down on day one, or have a 20 grand day one loan and then take £80,000 in chunks over the time than borrowing £100,000 from day one, which you're going to get charged interest on from day one.
Yeah.
Again, a good way of maximising profits. If you've got some money to chuck in yourself at the start, it's much better doing that than trying to use some of your money for the development, because 90% of the lenders will give you 100% of the refurb work anyway, if the end value comes up to where we need it to be.
And I guess people are thinking that, don't I need quite deep pockets to go into a project where I'm maybe converting a building into 5 or 10 or 15 apartments? But lenders work off certain metrics, don't they, that you have to hit. Not just, I'll let you talk about these, but loan to GDV, but you've got like loan to cost, haven't you, and other things that determine how much money somebody can borrow.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, the loan to cost is brilliant. The amount of money that a lender will give based on the actual total cost of a project, which usually means you have to put in some money. But if you can get assets cheap, I've had this just recently where a client already owns an asset that's worth 200 grand and there's no lending on it. In fact, we're doing it right now to this one, and he's going to be building a ground up couple of units on there. Because he already owns that land unencumbered, we can get him money day one, so he doesn't even need any cash to do that one. Obviously, not everyone already owns land or already owns assets that are unencumbered, but in that particular situation, a plot of land he already owns with no money on it, so straight away the value of that property is maybe worth about 150 grand. We can get him 70, 80 grand in his hand day one on that asset right now without him doing any work to it, you know what I mean? Obviously when he gets planning, it'll increase the value of the property and he'll basically be able to fund the entire project there without spending any of his own cash apart from valuations and legals right at the start. So again, if you own any land somewhere, any plots or any units, anything like that, especially commercial, we can lend money on it straight away so you can start that work. It may be a situation like you've said, if you own a commercial asset that's got no lending on it and you're thinking, how do I start the process of getting the money to turn this into 5 apartments, 2 grand up, whatever. If that property already has value, we can lend on it straight away.
Yeah.
So rather than you having to get some money, like a lot of the times, a lot of schemes, people will need money at the start, at least some money to get in there. But if they already own the asset, there's no money on it, we can lend money to that asset straight away that they can then use to maybe use the demolition on the asset, or use that money to go towards planning or something like that, because they don't need planning in place. We can lend them money to get planning in place, which will then increase the value of the asset, and then we can then lend more money to do the development or replace the loan, whatever they need to do. So there's loads of ways you can do it that not a lot of people know about.
And I guess it's pretty flexible. People think that are looking for permitted development properties that you have to do what that particular property allows you to do. Like for example, one recently I've been dealing with a light industrial unit. So it's an old mechanics garage converted into 6 apartments. So that's the PD side, permitted development for 6 apartments. But we've spotted that actually you could get 9 with a mezzanine level and a bit of an uplift in planning. So we've put a pre-planning app in, that's come back okay. Then a full planning app in, that's come back okay. Just waiting for the section 106 to come through. In that example, we've chose to, instead of just doing the 6 apartments, which permitted development has allowed us to do, we're going to go for the uplift to 9. Now the downside with that is that, we've acquired that building, so we're sat on a bridge for that period of time. The clock's ticking, you're paying interest on it, but the uplift from 6 to 9 apartments, the increased profit means that it's worth paying that bridge. But that's something that every case is different. I think with developers, they've got to assess it and decide, actually, shall I just knock out the 6 and take quicker profit now, or do I accept that the project's going to be another year and a half, whatever in length, but I'll get an increased number of units?
I mean, it's just up to what people's main motivators are, how quickly they need things, what the cash flow is, whether they've got other projects that they want to get on with. We've got clients that the two of us work with that have got multiple projects on at the same time, and if this is something that people are trying to look towards, like we've said in the past, if people have the ability to deliver units or conversions themselves, we've got lenders that will fund that 100%, as we're doing, at the moment with some clients. So it's definitely something that people should get involved with and look towards, because I think it's probably something that, as there's this drive, because I think there's going to be incentives coming with the way the new government are looking to try and build all these houses. There's going to be a demand for it. People are going to get help in buying these types of properties once they're built, and these new units are there. There's probably going to be something that's going to encourage people to do that. So now would be a good time for people to get into that sort of market, start delivering units so that in 6, 12, 18 months time, they've got a load of assets that are going to have a load of demand from a lot of people that are going to try and buy these properties, which seems to be the way things are going right now.
Yeah, and I know this is a subject in itself, but there's the case for more builder contractor developers to acquire 100% finance, isn't there? Where
Exactly,
you don't even need personal guarantees for 25% of the loan, which typically you're going to need. The lender will purchase the site, the lender will fund it fully, and you split the profits, and those kind of things. If the profit margins are right, but it works with builder developers, then they're great schemes, aren't they, to get into?
And very easy to get through as well, because the lenders will do all their own legal work, so it's not a back and forth between different legal parties, which is usually the thing that gives us all headaches. So it's definitely something to get into, options to explore, and I would recommend people get in touch with us if they've got anything along those lines, because the amount of times people ring up and say, I just rang you up out of the blue, I don't think you can do it, and then you give them a solution and they're just like, how on earth can you do that? But people don't know, so they need to get in touch with us.
Definitely chat through the project, we'll tell you whether it fits that, and if it can be funded 100%, then hey, you can get on with another project, your cash can stretch that bit further. Another week I'm going to talk through that in more detail with you, Joe. I think that'll be really useful to give people some criteria and things to look at, but in the meantime, if you've got any projects, just reach out to us. So that's it from me this week, and Joe,
cheers.
Until next time.
So that.